This is your number one source for all things comics, movies, and pop culture. It's Geek Week with Chris and Nick.
You're tuned into Geek Week.
I'm Chris Natale.
And I'm Nick Rotundo.
To all those listening, thank you for joining our discussion. It's great to be back from our 2-week hiatus and talk with you all on air again. So to all those listening, thank you for joining our discussion.
Yes, it feels good to be back, man. But with that, if you would like to hear any of our old episodes, including, unfortunately, because our program decided to not save episode 14, we have a video of recap for episode 14. So if you caught that a couple weeks ago on air, you can go check out the video recap that we have on our YouTube page now. Finally transitioning into video. So with that, if you'd like to hear any of our other episodes with that, besides episode 14 as well, you can check out our YouTube account, which is posted on our Facebook at www.facebook.com/geekweek885.
We've also started up an Instagram page. We posted a few things on there, and hope you guys check it out. And we'll keep you updated with comics, anything going on in the movies and things like that.
We did our review of the Lego Batman movie.
We had our first reactions as soon as they left the theater, kind of thing. And yeah, that was fun. It's okay. I'm not bitter, but Nick.
I apologize to Chris off air.
He did. He did.
Actually, the minute I posted that video, I was like, wait, Chris does have a Batarang.
Multiple, actually.
Signed by Scott Snyder. So I think he wins that battle. I was making the joke, guys, that he was the bigger Batman fan, but I do have a Batarang. But, it is what it is. Chris got me back.
Everything's good now.
So with that, we're going to go into today's topic, which was actually your guys' topic. You guys voted on a poll on our Facebook page, and you guys actually chose the topic for today. So after our 2-week hiatus, you guys got some time to vote. And Chris, why don't you tell the guys, tell everybody that's listening what they voted on?
So you guys voted on, are comic book movies becoming oversaturated? My answer to that question is yes, they are.
To me, it's iffy. I'm leaning towards no. So this hour of us talking and playing some great music, it's going to be fun. Blood might be shed. We don't know. Don't come by the WRKC window. You might see some blood splattered on there.
Like a really awful horror movie. Yep. All right. So we're gonna kick it off with the MCU versus the DCEU. And since the DCEU only really has 3 movies that are actually out right now, it's probably going to be talking mostly about Marvel, because Marvel has at least 20 plus titles out or that have already come out, and soon more coming on the way. So we're going to get into phase 1. We're just going to list them off real quick, and then we're going to kind of talk about a little bit briefly about each one. So Iron Man, Incredible Hulk, Iron Man 2, Thor, Captain America the First Avenger, and the Avengers movie. Personally, in my opinion, I got to say phase 1 was pretty awesome besides Iron Man 2.
Yeah, we won't get into that.
Because I just didn't care for the villain.
And the roadie change was like a big transition without saying anything.
I understand why they didn't pay Terrence Howard enough money to come back, but I kind of wish he did it anyway, because
it would have been fun to see him
I think he would have been an awesome War Machine. I'm not saying Don Cheadle doesn't do a good job.
Don Cheadle is amazing.
He's great. It's just it would have been it's a breaking continuity, and it was hard for some fans to get past it.
Same with the Hulk.
I'm okay. Yeah, I liked Ed Norton though. I really did. I Mark Ruffalo was great and all, and I like him a lot. But Ed Norton had me convinced that he was the Hulk, because it was puny Bruce Banner and turning into the big gargantuan facing off against Abomination, and it was just, I don't know. I like that movie a lot. That movie to me was good.
I do agree with you mostly there, except for the fact that I do really enjoy Mark Ruffalo more than Ed Norton. Reading up on the articles, seeing why he decided to back out, he kind of sounded like a complete dick, and I was like, all right, man, time to move on. And I've seen a bunch of other movies with Ruffalo. He plays that nerdy guy in the past. He's played I can't believe I'm actually saying this on air, but I've seen 13 going on 30. So,
well, he plays a good Bruce Banner and he plays a good Hulk, and I do like Mark Ruffalo. I'm not discrediting him at all. I knew Ed Norton as the Hulk, and then going into that transition to the Avengers when Mark Ruffalo was brought in, I didn't know at first, but I'm okay with him now, and he's kind of the Hulk in my eyes. And Ed Norton was the first. We're not going to talk about.
I agree.
We're not going to talk about the other guy.
Oh no.
But yeah,
we'll move on to Phase 2, which includes one of my personal favorites in my top 10, Iron Man 3. Then we've got Thor: The Dark World, Captain America: Winter Soldier, Guardians of the Galaxy, Avengers: Age of Ultron, and Ant-Man. So overall, Phase 2, very strong as well. Wasn't the biggest fan of The Dark World, but I enjoyed it for what it was.
Well, I'm going to get in. See, there's where I'm going to kind of disagree with you there. I thought that the phases kind of, from Phase 1, it was going up a nice hill, and then it kind of started going downward with Phase 2 for me. Because Iron Man 3 was great, I guess, but the only part I actually liked was the PTSD that Tony Stark experienced.
Yes,
that was cool. Everything else I was like, it's okay. You kind of took the Mandarin and made him a joke. He's not a joke villain. Why. I wasn't a big fan of that. I didn't like what they did with the villain. They made the Gideon guy the villain. He used his flame extremist power one time, and then he never used it again. It was just what was the point of doing that one time and then just not doing it in the final scene? I'm not bitter about it, but whatever.
Well, I will admit that one of the big reason why it is on my top 10 is because I have a funny story with that. When it came out, of course, everybody knows this was possibly the last time we were going to see Iron Man as Tony Stark. There was big rumors about him not re-signing a contract with Disney and Marvel. So me and a bunch of my buddies decided to grow out the Tony Stark goatee. That's why. Yep. And it was just hilarious, all of us going. So.
Oh, boy. I will say 2 really good movies came out of this for me, and they're my top 2 top 10 Marvel movies, which is Guardians of the Galaxy and Captain America: Winter Soldier.
I agree 100% with that.
Guardians of the Galaxy, I was going into it with high expectations. It even blew out those expectations, and it made me love it so much more. It was literally these group of delinquents that got together and faced Ronan the Accuser, which is he was an awesome villain. He was brutal, and then you had Thanos in the background. We got more of him instead of. He's still sitting on his chair, but he's Thanos. He can do whatever he wants.
Well, I will admit those. What is that? The How It Should Have Ended. They played that perfectly with Thanos sitting in the chair. No, it's not my time.
Yeah, he's just I like how they keep him in the chair. Once he gets off, it's over. It's over for anybody he's about to face. And Captain America: Winter Soldier, I love it because I thought before other movies came out, I'm not going to mention their names, I thought that Bucky the Winter Soldier was an awesome character, and I thought it was cool to bring him in from Cap's past as the Winter Soldier. He was Russian, Soviet, brainwashed soldier with a metal arm. I thought it was really sick, and I love the way they did it. I love Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury. He kills it every time he's in the role. And to me, it was a darker Captain America that I wanted to see. And everybody knows Captain America is the bright and colorful,
almost like a Boy Scout in a sense.
But this movie, he was more he was more of a badass. I'm going to say it. He was. And I liked Captain America in this movie, and it's hard for me to say that I like Captain America at all because I don't really find him interesting. But yeah, definitely those 2 movies made it. Ant-Man, by the way, also good. Yes. You had I can't remember his name from the top of my head right now.
Paul Rudd,
and you had Evangeline Lilly as becoming the Wasp, and then you had I can't remember his name, but he was
Hank Pym,
the guy who played Hank Pym. I think Michael.
I know that it's
Michael Douglas.
Yes.
Is it Michael Douglas?
Yes, it's Michael Douglas.
Yeah, that cast was great. I love the movie. It was funny. You made you care for Ant-Man character. I would have liked if they did Hank Pym, but I understand why they didn't. And it was cool to see because Paul Rudd's Ant-Man is actually in the comics too, and it was cool to see that. And I really enjoyed that. And at the same time, I had saw Fantastic Four or Fan Four Stick or however you want to call it. And yeah, left a bad taste in my mouth, and I told everybody to go see Ant-Man. End of story. Yeah. You have any comment on Phase 2, Nick? Any other ones you want to talk about?
Age of Ultron, it got a lot of flack too, but I enjoyed it for what it was. As Kevin Feige and the people of Marvel stated, this isn't the Age of Ultron storyline. They took the name, they liked the name, and it was about Ultron, so they just decided to take the name. They're doing that a lot, I see, with some names. Civil War we'll get into a little bit, but it wasn't the exact storyline, but they took the name of it. So I can see where they're going with it. I'm okay with it to an extent, but we'll see where it goes from there. Overall, Winter Soldier, though, I will state this fact, which is pretty cool. The Russo brothers, they came out and said, we directed this movie because as kids, when we read comics, we hated Captain America. We thought he was this cheesy Boy Scout, and we hated him. So we decided to take all the elements of him that were cool and amplify them. So from the get-go, he jumps out of a plane without a parachute, and he just beats up all these guys with however many, different styles of fighting and martial arts and everything. It's insane. And then, of course, Batroc the Leaper, who's played by a real MMA fighter, going up against Chris Evans. So I think with that, they decided to make it a darker tone and everything to prove to themselves that, Captain America can, be someone that anybody can like, as long as you look at it from a certain perspective.
I just want to comment on Age of Ultron real quick. I'm going to tell you why I didn't like it. I didn't like it because Ultron was too comedic to me. He was very sarcastic, and and I know that's not basing it off of his storyline, but in the comics, he's just a crazy AI psychopath kind of thing that just tries to kill the Avengers. And he doesn't laugh. He doesn't do any of that stuff. He literally just tries to kill them all the time, and that was his thing. And they kind of tweaked it to make it funnier, and I wasn't a big fan of that. They also messed up the Maximoff twins. I knew somebody was talking about this today. I think Stephanie from The Crown was talking about this today. And they killed off Pietro. And I was like, you just brought him into this movie and you killed him. Literally just, he's quick. I guarantee he would have got out of the way of those bullets. Just saying. Well, he's very fast.
The whole picture, it's a business. It's Hollywood. So the whole idea of taking the Maximoff twins and splitting them up so that way Fox can keep Quicksilver and Marvel can keep Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, I understand that, but why bring him in the first place? It's and then also Joss Whedon had so much to say. He was so mad about this movie. It wasn't his vision, and they released it like that, and he just stopped doing movies for Marvel. He literally went down to do Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. stuff, and that was good. And then I don't even know what he's doing now, but he the fact that director and he's an awesome writer.
Cloak and Dagger?
I don't know I don't actually know if he's doing that, but I know that
I heard that's supposed to be good.
It's messed up because he's an awesome writer. I've read his Astonishing X-Men books. He's great. I just feel bad that they did that to him because he had a better vision for the movie, and I guarantee if we got a director's cut, everyone would probably liked it better. Just saying. Anyway, just to get into Phase 3. Oh, God, here we go.
His favorite movie.
Captain America Civil War, not my favorite. Nick just said that just to joke around. And then you got Doctor Strange, and those are the two that are out so far. And then you got Guardians coming up in May, Guardians 2, which everybody's probably excited for because Guardians 1 was awesome.
And, of course, Homecoming's coming out in July.
Well, yeah, we'll get to that. Yeah. So, all right. Nick, you could tell me what you like about Civil War, and then I'm going to rebuttal. Yeah, it's going to be a nice little rant for me.
Look, okay, I know everybody that's listening, there's going to be some, flack here or there, whether you liked it or you didn't. It's not the storyline. I get that. I mean, it would have been cool to see the storyline, but, they're introducing characters like Black Panther and Spider-Man who, let's be honest, stole the show. I mean, Chadwick Boseman was amazing, created his own accent to be Wakandan. And Tom Holland, let's be honest here, from the little we saw of him and the little we saw from the trailers for Spider-Man Homecoming, I think this guy's my Spider-Man. So from those two people who took over now, there's transitioning into that. You're not going to see the real comic storyline where Peter unmasks himself. This is Spider-Man just becoming Spider-Man. But, there's a lot of things that were changed, like the Sokovia Accords being changed so that way it killed Black Panther's father and a bunch of delegates compared to, kids at a high school. So I get why they did it. They don't have rights to a lot of people, and, they want to make it so that way it's a Captain America movie and yada, 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 Hollywood. But I will say, from what it was, if you look at it from not taking the Civil War storyline. So if you never read Civil War and you just watched this movie was fantastic. It was funny when it needed to be. I mean, you're bringing together all of the Avengers that we've already had so far, along with some new Avengers, including Ant-Man, who's joined the cast as well, who also becomes Giant Man. I mean, Paul Rudd's hilarious. Tom Holland proves to us what kind of, shy, nervous little Peter Parker we're supposed to have. And then, like I said before, Chadwick Boseman, enough said. So overall, I think this movie set up for a lot of other movies that I cannot wait to go see. But I get where people say they didn't enjoy it because of, what Chris is saying.
All right. Well, I will agree with you. I will agree with you. I think the best part, I will agree with you to some extent, some things that you said, which are Spider-Man was great, Black Panther was great, the Wakandan accent, Chadwick Boseman, awesome, loved it, loved those two elements, loved Giant Man being incorporated, the action was excellent. The problem for me was the plot, and I don't even care if it's exactly like I was going to say the damn book, whatever. I don't care if it's exactly like the Civil War book, but it was like there was comedy. You said there's comedy when it needed to be in there, but I felt like almost every other scene there was a joke said, and it's like characters that wouldn't even tell jokes. Like Ant-Man, fine. Paul Rudd, he's a jokester, fine. Spider-Man, fine. It's what he does. Iron Man, yeah, he's sarcastic, but he can make you laugh. Other characters in there should not have gotten the jokes that they got. Like I was just like, come on, guys! Like this is Civil War.
Well, I mean,
the Civil War literally says, like the title in itself says people are going to die, yet no one in the movie died. Rhodey got paralyzed. Like everybody thought he would have been dead from that fall, and I'm pretty sure anybody who hit that fall, even with the armor on and the zap from Vision's stone, would have been dead. But they were like, nah, we can't do that. We love to cater to the younger audiences. We don't want to kill anybody on screen. Like, no.
Well, I will say this. Next movie we talk about, there's a nice little Easter egg. If no one heard about this, I'll explain. But before we get into that, I do admit, yes, I agree on that. I mean, look, people could have died. They didn't. But, I mean, Vision, I really enjoy what they're doing with Vision. I think, oh, geez, I am blanking on the actor's name, but he played Jarvis beforehand. Mm-hmm. And that guy is amazing at everything he does. He was in A Knight's Tale. He was great in that.
Yeah, he's funny, and I'm not saying Vision was bad. I'm just saying
I miss Jarvis. I do miss Jarvis.
Yeah. But, like, again, I'm going back to Wanda Maximoff, like, Scarlet Witch. It's just, like, they don't do it. It was like, what's the point of even introducing them if you're not going to do anything with them? Like, there's no point of her being there. Like, oh, she lost her brother, and now it's like, oh, she causes the next accident. It couldn't have been anybody else besides her, and she couldn't have threw that guy Crossbones into space or anything because she's not that strong, yet she really is, guys.
I think it's still, it's like one movie into the future, basically, so
yeah,
it's just her still trying to learn these powers, I think.
It was just a lot of setup, and the Registration Act was like, the Sokovia Accords is what they're calling it, quote unquote, and it was just 10 minutes of the movie they really talked about it, and then it was never talked about, and then they focused on Bucky the whole time, which is what made me hate him, because it's like Captain America's thing was like, he'd be like, oh, like one for all, like not for one, like you're Captain America, you're not going to fight for just one person, you're going to fight for everybody because you're Captain America. And
I do agree on that. However, justice, he does serve some justice.
Yeah,
but I mean, I will say, how you said not everybody should get, jokes, or not everybody should be the jokester. I will admit, one funny scene that I wasn't expecting was when Captain America kisses Agent 13, and you just look at Falcon and Winter Soldier, and they just kind of give the nod, like, yeah, I'm proud of you, man, you're my bro. It's just that bro moment, and they kind of like fist bump.
Yeah. I also think, like, just to get into the oversaturation aspect of our show, I think Marvel's had just way too many movies. Like, they have their own Marvel Studios movies, which, if I wanted to count them right now, would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, with more to come. And that's only the Marvel Studios. There's Marvel Fox and Marvel Sony who have more. And it's like so many titles. And I think the problem is that they're coming out with them too quickly. And some people are just like, oh, another superhero movie. Oh, great. Well, something not to look forward to. And it's like, us fans are like, yeah, we're probably basking in it, but like someone like me, I'm just like, I kind of want you to take more time to do it. I want quality over quantity, because I'd rather see a good movie in 3 years, a good Spider-Man movie or a good Doctor Strange movie in 3 years, than see it like tomorrow and just have it, because it just, I don't know. I don't like that Marvel releases so many movies. It's crazy. And I know they're trying to get through all their phases, but like, they're not letting anybody breathe and like kind of take in and process their movies. And I feel like that's a problem for them. It really is.
I see your point now. Before I go into my whole rebuttal, I will say Doctor Strange, the nice little Easter egg that I was trying to mention before was the fact that while he's driving, before he crashes, he's talking to his assistant who's, giving him different surgeries he can say yes or no to. And one of them is a military man who was shot down in a suit of armor. So he was talking about Rhodey, and he denied helping Rhodey. So
yeah,
I can't wait to see how that plays out. But other than that, I will say, I do see your point. I kind of agree. There are a lot of movies coming out, but my point of it is the idea of comparing it to the old Western. Now, the whole idea of the old Western is that, yes, they were oversaturated. It was the same story over and over and over again. Good guy, cowboy. Oh, bad guy, shoots him, saves the girl, gets the girl, the end. So it was that whole big Western type of storyline, and people got tired of it, and it ended. Whereas, to me, in my opinion, when you look at superhero movies, I do think that they have a lot coming out at a fast pace, but to me, it's good and bad. I see the good in it because of the fact that, well, they're different characters, and they're different storylines, and they're different groups. So to me, comparing, the oversaturation of that old Western, same story over and over and over again, compared to a Spider-Man movie coming out and then a Guardians of the Galaxy 2 coming out in the same year. They're two completely different storylines. One's in space, and they have completely different personalities. Look at, like, an Iron Man movie compared to a Spider-Man movie. This is Tony, who's a billionaire who has as much money in the world as he wants to go build something so he can save the day, compared to Spider-Man, where he's like, I'm a kid. I have to stop this vulture. What the heck am I doing? So I think, you're seeing completely different storylines with that, in the sense that, it's a different story every time you tell it.
I just think that Marvel focuses way too much on like their popular characters. If you look at just from the beginning of Phase 1, it's like Iron Man, Hulk, Thor, Captain America, the Avengers. Oh, that
was a great way to build it in.
And that's fine. That's a good way to start it. But then go into different characters that are actually like the Guardians was perfect for Phase 2 because it's somebody, they're different. No one really knows about them that much, and they got brought in, and that's why they bought. Yeah, and like Ant-Man is not really. I mean, he's on some Avengers teams, but he's not really kind of shown, I guess, to be a popular character. I haven't read many of the older Marvel comics, so I'm not really sure about that. But it's like brings people in that they don't really know. But like you have, again, Phase 2, it's like Iron Man, Thor, Captain America, and then Avengers again. But then you have like the Guardians and you have Ant-Man. Good. Those two were actually great to me. And then Captain America Winter Soldier was a cool, darker way of twisting him. But then if you look at Phase 3, again, it's Captain America and all the Avengers and all that whole team and everything, and then but like just introducing new characters is what people like. I mean, it's what I like. Black Panther, awesome. I'm excited for his movie. Spider-Man, awesome. I'm excited for his movie. And I'm not going to get into this right now. I'm going to talk about those movies later. It's just that Spider-Man, if I would have seen Spider-Man 3 and then 10 years later I've seen this, I'd probably been like, wow, they've changed a lot over the years. Not had, the other movies, but we're going to get into those after the break.
That'll be after the break.
It's just, I just want to say that I feel like Marvel should focus on, or even DC, both of them should focus on less popular characters that are underrated and deserve spotlight, and people would want to like see them. At least I think so. I feel like more readers want to see stories about characters they don't really know much about. But anyway, I'm going to break into the DCEU.
Yes.
All right. So, out of the movies, you got Man of Steel.
The first one.
Batman v Superman, and Suicide Squad. Man of Steel caused a lot of controversy because Superman was shown as a darker Superman, like his first time being Superman, introduced Lois Lane and all those other classic characters, Perry White, and it was. I really didn't mind it because it was different. Yeah, people were like, "Oh, I want to see the bright and colorful Superman in Metropolis kind of thing," but like, I didn't mind Zack Snyder with that because it was just different, and DC is going for a darker tone over Marvel, and that's fine to me because I feel like DC's kind of always been darker than Marvel. But it's like, I don't know. People hated this movie, and personally, I didn't mind it because I just liked seeing Superman in a different light, if you will. It's just. But people were like, "Oh no, he broke Zod's neck. Superman wouldn't do that." If someone is shooting laser beams at a family of people and he has to decide between saving that family or the person that's caused all the destruction in the city, like a ridiculous amount of destruction in the city. He's going to break their neck. Let's be real.
True. Or, just tilt the head back, hit the ceiling, and then fly him out, throw him into the Phantom Zone.
Yeah, I mean, if Superman even know what the Phantom Zone is, this is like a new Superman, by the way.
Very true. But
that's
now,
why the city's destructed, because he doesn't know what he's doing yet. It's like
now
he's kind of just getting his
that.
feet wet.
This is my take on it. I enjoyed Man of Steel. I went midnight premiere with one of my buddies to go see it when it came out. I enjoyed it for what it was. However, it's bringing it back to that Christopher Nolan type of universe where it's everything has to be dark. Oh, woe is me. Why do I have to have these powers? Like, now, look, I'm sure I'm going to get some flack for saying that.
You are.
Oh, I know I am. But let's be honest here. Look at almost every comic that Superman has done. He is happy. He sees these powers and sees who he is as a gift to, like, help humanity and prove, like, Kryptonians are here, or the last Kryptonian is here to, protect you and show you that, things are okay. And so, and as he says, the S, it stands for hope. So I was on Twitter a couple of weeks ago, and there was a hashtag going around that was actually trending. It said, "If I was Superman." I was like, oh, don't get me started. So I was like, you know what? I'm jumping on this bandwagon. I said, hashtag, if I were Superman, I'd actually smile, unlike Henry Cavill. I mean, transitioning into the next movie here, Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, yes, they see him as an alien. They see him as, this menace in a sense. You are Superman, dude. Smile at least once. You win a battle. Smile. No, I'm just going to keep frowning.
I mean, I think he smiled when he was around Lois, and I feel like, and his mom,
Barely.
and I feel like that's what count. Like, I feel like you're going through all that, and you're dealing with another Kryptonian, which you thought you were the only one, and you're going through this whole thing with, like, wow, everything I knew was a lie. Their Kryptonians still exist, and I have to fight them all, and I don't know what I'm doing. I feel like it was fine for the tone of the movie. That's just me, but. The next one, Batman v Superman, like, wow, I've seen so many people give it so much crap, and it just, wow, guys, like, I sat through this movie, and I was like, this to me blew out Civil War. I just don't get what people are seeing. I feel like I'm in that series Divergent, and I feel like I'm the Divergent one, everybody else is under mind control, and I'm like, did everybody see the same movie I saw? Did I see a different movie? Like, what is going on?
That was me too.
And it's like, no, we hate Batman v Superman. Like, all right, guys, whatever. I've seen it was inspired by multiple comics. Dark Knight Returns, Injustice. I just don't get people not having an open mind with this. I tried having an open mind with Civil War, even though I read the comic, and I still didn't like it. With Batman v Superman, I wasn't going in expecting it to be, like, amazing or anything. I was like, you know what? I'm going to keep my expectations at a standard and then go in, and I loved it. I didn't, like, people give it, the Martha thing. I love that argument. That's my favorite to hear. But, guys, if you just take Martha and replace it with Bucky, are we at Civil War again? Oh, I think so. Because that's pretty much with it's like the same thing. And it's like people are just like, oh, no, we don't like DC, we like Marvel better because Marvel puts out so many movies and they're so good. Like, Marvel's clearly brainwashing people, especially with some movies. Wow. But I cannot even begin to explain how annoying that is to me. Like, just, I don't even know where to even begin with that.
No, I mean, for me, like, let's be honest here, you know me, and a lot of people who tune in regularly know me. I am a Marvel fanboy, let's be honest here. I love Marvel. I love Spider-Man. That is my hero. But I will admit, I do enjoy DC as well. I'm not one of those guys that's like, no, screw DC, only Marvel. Marvel's the best. I'm not into that. I enjoy characters for who they are, and I watch these movies, and I see if they're, close to source material. That's what is important to me. My couple points that I have to make. One, Ben Affleck, one of the best Batman I have ever seen in my entire life, and I've watched every Batman movie.
Same. I mean, I'm wearing a Wayne Enterprises shirt and a Batman hat. I'll leave it at that. Let's continue.
So, I thought he was insane. Like, insanely good. He knows that character. Before he even wanted to play Batman, he was working on a Kevin Smith movie called Jersey Girl, driving a a street sweeper looking at his daughter in the movie saying, "You're out in the Batmobile, babe," and he built his panic room in his mansion as a bat cave.
It's a guy who clearly cares about the character. I agree. Ben Affleck was amazing. And just a real quick tidbit to Superman, if they're setting up for like some kind of Injustice Superman, which it seems like they are, I feel like Henry Cavill's Superman made a lot of sense. Sam had just told me that, and I agree with her completely. Like, if you Injustice, he's supposed to be a broken person and a darker person. He's not supposed to be the, hey, I'm going to smile and act like everything's okay.
Now, I mean, it's just... Now, if they're trying to build up this idea of... Now, hear me out on this. CW is supposed to be a different universe.
Okay.
What is the big thing with DC?
Well, they're multiverses.
They're multiverses, and they've talked about that a lot recently with, interviews with the guy who's Jeff Johns and a bunch of other people who are running Warner Brothers DC and the TV shows on CW and stuff. They're saying that, it's a universe, or it's one universe or whatever of, multiverse possibly. So we could at some point, if we go that route of Injustice, what if we find out who's the best out of each thing, and they take that and combine them. So Supergirl becomes part of the main DC universe. I love Grant Gustin as the Flash. I could not believe they didn't want to bring him in. So, but if they're doing multiverse, kick Ezra Miller out. Main DC universe, Grant Gustin. Arrow, say no more. Superman, kick out Injustice Superman, bring in the CW Superman, because let's be honest here, that guy who's I completely forget his name.
He was on Teen Wolf.
He was on Teen Wolf. That's what I was about to say. He honestly, that guy's awesome. I saw maybe one episode that he was in on Supergirl where he gets introduced and he's talking on the phone to Bruce Wayne, who is like a Adam West Bruce Wayne, and it was great. I was like, this is Superman to me. This is what I grew up on. So this is what I want to see transition into. I mean, who knows? I still think, if they're doing Justice League, they're going to do a Green Lantern Corps movie, which I'm excited for, as well as obviously the Wonder Woman movies coming up. But, I mean, let's be honest, guys. Green Lantern should have been in the first Justice League movie. And so should have, Martian Manhunter.
Yeah, but I could do without Green Lantern only because they want to make a movie out of it. And Martian Manhunter could have been included, and they could have.
And that should have been the first part of the Justice League movie. All of a sudden, this thing crashes down from Mars, and it's him.
I mean, yeah, it's like. It would have been cool to see him, and I would love to see Martian Manhunter in the Justice League movie. I'm not a fan of how their Cyborg looks right now. I don't know about his acting, but I don't like. I
still think they should have done
his
Titans
look
movie.
Just doesn't. I mean, yeah, I don't want. I want him to do a Titan show personally, but
it's just Nightwing.
Yeah, well,
but I will say this though. I'm excited for this movie. I'm excited to go see Justice League when it comes out, but I will be upset if when they resurrect Superman, when he comes out of his grave, if he does not have that black suit and either a mullet and beard or one or the other and also the black suit, I'm done. That is what the movie is supposed to be. If you read The Death of Superman and when he comes back, he has a black suit for a reason.
Yeah, I mean, I understand where you're going with that. It's just that the way they're structuring this universe is completely different than what you would like. In the whole thing with Superman dying, I understand that, getting the black suit and all that, and that'd be cool to see him in it. But if they don't, I'm not going to be like, I'm
not going to stop watching them, but I'm going to be very upset.
Yeah, but I mean, I was upset about Civil War, and I'm still going to see Infinity War and everything else.
Oh yeah, I'm still going to see the rest of the DC.
It's I'm not going to cross it off my list.
Exactly. But, it is what it is. I would love to see that. They've been teasing it, or they've either been teasing it, or it's been people, photoshopping things. And that, I always get that, and it, really gets me annoyed, because I never know when things are photoshopped or it's real. But, so overall, Marvel versus DC. Before we get into that, we'll talk about Suicide Squad as the next thing. And before I do that, actually, I will admit this. When I saw Batman v Superman, I saw it twice in theaters, and I saw once regular, I saw it once in IMAX, which was awesome. There was so much more to that picture that you didn't see when you saw it regularly, the camera-wise.
IMAX is the way to go.
And then I watched the Ultimate Edition at home. And oh my God, guys, like this is the reason why people said this movie stunk. Go watch the Ultimate Edition and you'll understand.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I still don't think the movie stinks as it is, but like I did enjoy the Ultimate Edition a lot better. It filled in certain things for me.
Same with Suicide Squad, I think.
I didn't see the Ultimate Edition or
that was
awesome.
awesome.
That, but I'm looking forward to it. So yeah. Well, you know, guys, like that's gonna kind of cut out to our music break. That was just us kind of looking at both universes with what they're doing with their movies, and you can see clearly Marvel's oversaturated compared to DC. DC hasn't really released much. They're bigger on their animated stuff and everything else.
I agree on
and
that.
Their comics are fantastic. So like Marvel's kind of going down with the comics too. It's kind of
yeah.
Worse,
I mean, I think they should pump out a couple more movies. DC. I mean, look, I'll be honest with you. Aquaman, stuff like that. They're doing. It looks like they're doing it justice. You know, Ben Affleck's pushing it back more and more about the Batman movie that he's doing. And I get he wants to make it justice, but if you want to really catch up to Marvel or even at least compete with Marvel and show that, look, guys, our movies are supposed to be good too, I want to see those movies. I really do. So I can't wait for those movies to come out. I'm definitely going to go see them. All right, guys. So we talk about the battle royale of the century, Marvel versus DC in movie-wise oversaturation. Now, I guess we'll go into a little in-depth about certain movie franchises that we'll talk about, about certain characters and why they were remade so much, or, just so many changes, or why they were bad or good or whatever. So we're going to kick it off with, I guess, my favorite character, Sony Disney movie, Spider-Man.
He said, I guess, his favorite character. Guys, can we be real? It's his favorite character. All right, so Spider-Man trilogy by Sam Raimi. Spider-Man 1, loved it. Spider-Man 2, loved it more. Like, oh yeah, wow. Alfred Molina as Doc Ock, so good. No one can top his performance as Doc Ock. But wow. And then Spider-Man 3 is where it really goes downhill. Unfortunately,
we don't talk about that movie.
I'll be real quick, guys. They try to make Sandman the killer of Uncle Ben, ruins that whole thing. Topher Grace's Venom, come on, leaves a bad taste in your mouth. And let's not forget Snowboarder, Glider, Green Goblin. Wow. Holy moly, guys. That was awful.
I'll just bang the nail right into the and hit the nail right on the head.
Maguire is a perfect Peter Parker, guys. And for those of you who don't know, he's supposed to be nerdy. He's supposed to be kind of a loser. And he's supposed to rise above it all, of the bullying and everything else. And he's smart, and that's his whole thing. And this becoming Spider-Man is kind of what makes him cool. And then I will say, I'm going to get into like Garfield, I will say was a great Spider-Man compared to Maguire. Maguire had some quips here and there, but Garfield's more quippy, more like kind of bouncy, like, like more of the
Ultimate
Spider-Man
Edition, type of.
But like if I had to pick a Spider-Man right now, it's going to be Tom Holland.
I agree.
Because Tom Holland is like the best of both. He really showed his own in Civil War, and I appreciate him. And I can't wait to see what they do with Homecoming. And I'm going to let Nick kind of take over because I don't want to get into Amazing Spider-Man, those movies, because I will just go on a rant forever.
I know you will.
I'll let him talk about it.
So, quickly summed up, Raimi, if he had to have a grade, obviously he'd pass. He got 2 out of the 3 movies right. Let's not talk about Emo Peter. We'll move on from there. Amazing Spider-Man franchise. I enjoyed it for what it was. It brought back, the idea of that Ultimate Spider-Man where it's in a modern setting where he is a kid, which I was okay with. However, during this time where he was, playing Spider-Man, he was petitioning to get Sony to, kind of sell like half of the rights or whatever, or sell the rights completely to Disney, so that way he would be able to be brought into the MCU. Whether it's, that or, they kind of just make a deal so that way they get to share the character. Guess the irony's on him, because he was supposed to show up to a Sony dinner in Japan, I believe, and he didn't show up last minute, said, oh, I have other engagements. Kind of just blew him off. So they were just like, all right, screw you, you're fired. And that's when they decided to make the deal with Disney and sold half the rights. Now there's even rumors now that there might be, they might sell the rest of the rights to Disney, giving them full rights to Spider-Man, which would be amazing, but, it is what it is. I'll take what I can get. He's in the MCU. However, I will say this. If he were to have shown up to that dinner, it would have been announced at that dinner that Garfield would have played Spider-Man Peter Parker again in Amazing Spider-Man 3, and he most likely would have gotten the black suit.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I have to comment about, I have a few comments about Amazing Spider-Man. It's just like, I didn't like the first suit they had where he kind of looked like a basketball.
Yeah.
If you guys don't know Chris Stuckman, his videos are awesome, how he criticizes these two movies. Wow. But it's just the plot holes and Gwen Stacy being so needy and like having to rely on Peter Parker, and her romance was just pretty much all that made her an actual character. And it was just, oh, guys,
I agree.
I don't want to get
I
any
loved
more
Emma
into
Stone,
that,
but I mean,
she was all right.
Yeah.
She was all right.
you can tell I have a thing for Emma Stone.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, let's just break into Batman real quick, go down the line. Obviously, the two Keaton movies, Batman and Batman Returns. Keaton was by far the best Batman before Ben Affleck hit the screen. Ben
I agree
Affleck,
on
to
that.
me, is now above Keaton. Keaton will always be the original Batman to me in terms of live action. And oh God, I don't even want to get into the other two, Batman Forever and Batman and Robin, Kilmer and Clooney. Wow, no, it was just
Clooney, Batsuit.
it was. I mean, the Batman and Robin movie is supposed to be campy, but like, I still didn't enjoy it. I just think whatever, like, it gives laughs to everybody. So cool. Kilmer, not the greatest Batman, but Jim Carrey was a great Riddler. I will say that. As far as the Christian Bale trilogy, I did like him as Bruce Wayne. Dark Knight will always be one of my favorite comic book movies of all time. Heath Ledger's performance as Joker alone blew everyone out of their theaters. It was great, and that'll be my favorite out of that trilogy. But Bale's Batman voice was awful.
Oh,
and
God.
I couldn't even deal with that. My ears couldn't. I couldn't even deal with Tom Hardy's Bane voice.
Oh, hello,
Even though I love joking around about it, it's just I just couldn't. It's not Bane to me. But everything else about him was he was a brute. So it was awesome.
Quickly, rank the Batman in order of top to bottom, your favorite to the least favorite.
Okay, this is actually pretty easy. So Affleck, then Keaton, then Bale, then Kilmer, then Clooney. That was the easiest thing I could have done.
Ooh, okay. I'm going to give you a little bit of a plot twist. I'm going to go fighting between first and second is Keaton and Affleck. Third, I'll give Val Kilmer. Fourth, plot twist, Adam West. Fifth, I should say, I'll give Bale, and then sixth, I'll give Clooney. I did not like Bale, honestly. I enjoyed the movies for what they were. He played the billionaire playboy role perfectly, I think, but I just did not like his Batman whatsoever. The armor, the whole, I got a tank as my Batmobile. Like, come on, guys.
I mean, this is Christopher Nolan's all modern.
I know, it's Nolan. He loves what he loves.
I still enjoy the trilogy
overall,
yeah, but it's like you can't imagine as the comic book Batman because that's not what he was going for.
Not at all. So that's my take on it. I think Affleck and Keaton by far. I mean, I grew up on Michael Keaton as Batman. I remember seeing those movies at home, on the TV, and I was like, "That's Batman." Like, I read like a couple Batman comics here or there. As always, since I was a kid, since I started comic book reading, I was always a Marvel fan. But I did enjoy some, DC comics here or there. But I will admit, Keaton portrayed the Batman that I read in the comics perfectly. And funny story, when he's on the set of Homecoming in the Vulture suit, he goes up to Tom Holland all the time and goes, "I'm Batman." Okay. He actually does that.
Yeah, well, that's Keaton for you. He was in Birdman, which was a great film.
Oh, yes.
I respect Keaton as an actor, and I like that he's continuing his
I think he likes characters
career
with wings.
I think he's just picked out for characters with wings, But anyway, we're going to break into the Fantastic Four real quick. I honestly prefer the one from 2005 over Fan Four Stick, the 2015 version. The guy who plays Reed Richards, I think that whole team is good. I think the way they portrayed those characters in Fantastic Four were good. And I may be shunned for this. And I don't care. That's just, I like that. Their Doctor Doom was better.
Oh, yeah.
And it just, that whole movie, I could watch it over and over and I won't get tired of it. It's just.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I think the guy who played Reed Richards, I think, was the best pick out of any character that they did in that franchise.
Yeah, it's between him and the other guy, and Miles Teller. And Miles Teller's a great actor, but he wasn't given a great script. So
I just don't see. Don't get me wrong. I love Miles Teller as an actor. Whiplash was amazing. I just saw War Dogs a couple of weeks back. That was great. I think he plays pretty much any role he gets well. I just didn't see him as even a young Reed Richards. There's just something about it for me. I don't know.
I really just think it was a script, dude. I don't know. The actors were all great, and just from what I know.
But I will say, in order from oldest to newest, that's my picks for Fantastic Four. I did not like the 2015 version at all. The idea of making Johnny and Sue step siblings. Now, I will say this. If you're going to make Johnny African American, make Sue African American. I get, you wanted some diversity, and the idea of, they're step siblings. She was adopted. Well, Johnny is supposed to be that younger brother who's very overprotective. I'm not saying, adopted siblings can't be overprotective or can't have that same love, but it's just something about, blood relation that just clicks with you when you're reading a comic. So when you're reading that and you see whether it's in the comics at one point when Johnny dies, Sue is just gone. Everything about her life is just gone. She's a shell.
I think Sue's more overprotective of Johnny than I think.
I think she's overprotective. Oh, he's overprotective in the sense of her dating boys. She's overprotective in the fact that he loves doing stunts and being just,
I guess, dummy. I mean, I haven't read many Fantastic Four comics, so I really don't know the dynamic as well. If I did read them, I'm sure I would. But just for the last part of our discussion before we exit out of here is the X-Men movies. And I will say the X-Men trilogy by Brian. I think Bryan Singer did the first two. I don't know if he did the last one, The Last Stand.
Pretty sure he did. I'm not sure.
I don't remember off the top of my head, but I did like X-Men and X2. They were interesting. They were different. I really appreciate what they did with those. And X-Men Last Stand, please just get it out of my face.
Yeah, we won't.
It was
that
awful.
Doesn't exist. Like Spider-Man 3.
Hence Days of Future Past had to rewrite that whole thing. It just had to fix everything. X-Men Origins Wolverine, burn it, get rid of it. I don't want to see it. It was just, I don't even.
Certain parts were okay. I liked how he got the jacket and everything.
I don't like the way they did Deadpool. I don't like the.
That was ruined.
It was whatever. They did First Class. I really love that movie. That was different. You had Fassbender, McAvoy, great Xavier, great Magneto. I love that movie. I could watch that movie as many times as as I could watch Days of Future Past or Deadpool or X-Men Apocalypse. Those are all great. It just, and then you got the Wolverine movie, which I cannot stand. My girlfriend can't either.
I enjoyed. I get you don't like the whole mech suit for the samurai. It's not
even just that. It's he went to Japan. It's supposed to be a hack and slash. It should have been him fighting ninjas. It should have been rated R because it would have been so much cooler. I agree
on that 100%.
And they introduced that one mutant. I don't remember her name, but she's like a snake. I can't remember her. Python or I was. It was something. It wasn't Python, but it was somebody else.
Who you're talking
about. It was just so random what they did with it. I don't like the big mech suit thing. I really didn't. If he's a silver samurai, he has samurai armor. That's it. Let's leave it at that. Make it easy. I don't know. I just didn't like the cast, the sporting cast either. It was a rough movie, man. I don't know. I'm excited for Logan.
I can't wait.
I really
hope
dude. Logan kind of redeems Hugh Jackman's standalone Wolverine movies. He's awesome in all the X-Men movies as Wolverine. And then you have that.
Of course. Now this is going to be his walk off into the sunset type of movie. And I just can't wait to see that. If you guys don't know, Chris and I will be seeing this movie together. We're going to make a plan. We're going to figure it out. We're going to go see it together. But, I think Logan is really going to make it a stand of who Hugh Jackman is as Wolverine. I've petitioned this for months, years even. Hugh Jackman has even given a suggestion. I would love to see, if they had to replace him, Tom Hardy. I know you gave me some flack for this. I don't know how I feel about it, that kind of thing. But I think he would pull it off. From the amount of movies I've seen with him in them, I think he could do it. Plus, he's shorter. So that's just another add-on.
Yeah, but my argument is Hugh Jackman's been Wolverine for 17 years, and it's going to be a hard transition for me. If Tom Hardy can pull it off, great. I would like to see it. But if not, I wouldn't mind them making X-23 the new Wolverine because she's being introduced in Logan. It'd be a cool transition to see her, and it's a good step for female superheroines to have their own movies. I'm just saying.
There's this rumor that ran around in the past. I don't know if this is still a rumor. If they're transitioning for X-23 to become the new Wolverine, what if they sell actual Wolverine, Logan, to Marvel, so that way Logan is in the MCU and they have X-23 as the Wolverine in the Fox movies. That was a talk in the past. I don't know if it's still.
I don't know how I feel about all that.
But I would love to see him team up with the Avengers. Honestly, he's in the new Avengers in the comics.
If you introduce one mutant, you should introduce the rest of the mutants. I don't. It's just having one is just weird.
Very true. And me, Deadpool. I mean, you don't have to really say much about him. He was great. That movie was
the characters
amazing.
Were great. I would just say that the plot was weak to me. I wasn't really caring about the villains, but overall I like the characters that like Colossus, Negasonic Teenage Warhead, and Deadpool. Like, and then you got Weird Al, and then you got what's his name, Weasel, and those guys are great. And even Vanessa, she was fantastic. She's supposed to be Copycat or some.
Right? Yeah, she is.
I thought those guys were great. It's just Deadpool. It was like one of those movies that like it's a typical superhero movie, saving the girl, getting the girl and everything. But I still love Deadpool. Don't get me wrong. It's just that I'm not going to say it's the best movie.
Now, Deadpool 2, we're going to have Cable, and we're going to possibly have Domino added into this. You want Hugh Jackman to do one last hurrah and team up with Deadpool? I say yes.
I would say give him a cameo. I wouldn't say have him like do a full-on movie.
Oh, yeah, no.
I would say give him a cameo, and if not, I would be okay with them not having him in it.
Logan,
honest.
You want to see him in that yellow suit? I say yes. I mean, it might not fit the tone of the movie, but at some point, if he has to put it on, I think that would be amazing because people have been like, petitioning for this for years and years and years. Put on the mask, put on the suit. I would love to see that, whether it's the yellow and brown or the yellow and blue, either or. I think
it would be cool to like after Logan's over and they show like X-23 in the future, her wearing the suit. That's just me.
I still want to see Hugh Jackman in it, though.
I know, but I don't know. I don't want them to force the suit. That's all. That's just me.
That's true. So, go check out the trailers for Logan. Go check out the trailers for every other movie that's coming out this year. We are going to end it here. And thank you all for joining us again. This has been Geek Week with Chris and Nick. Once again,
I'm Chris Natali.
And I'm Nick Rotundo.
We know you guys, we have a YouTube channel, we have an Instagram, so please make sure to like check them out and like subscribe to us, follow us on Facebook, all that good stuff. Follow us on Instagram. We love the support and we want to keep doing this. This is something we love doing every Wednesday, and it gives us an hour to kind of talk about what we love. So yeah, tune in next week to hear us talk about our favorite comic book artists and writers, guys. It's going to be fun.
Oh, I can't wait for that. It's going to be just artist after artist of, 90s, 80s, maybe even.
Hey,
who knows?
We don't know. You never know. Might get a wrench thrown in there. You never know.
So with that, we will see you next week.
That was Geek Week with Chris and Nick. Be sure to tune in next week at 6 p.m.